All right, hoes. Yes, that's a new one. I'm experimenting and calling my fans hoes, along with the other slew of insults that I choose from. But yeah, anyways, I'm drawing visual library, legally blind, lol xd, focusing on right now the gun C22. So draw along with me, right? Actually do something rather than just watching or listening to this. Put the work in, because you can't get good without putting the work in. So do that. And keep me on the background for retention and monetary purposes down the line. Of course, right? We have to be patient. We can't just assume we'll make money immediately, but we shall make money at one point. Why? Because idiots like you will watch my content. I love you and everything you do. Anyways, now that I'm done, this is what I don't know what the fuck I'm saying, just saying random shit. Okay, and I have to think like so. I'm just doing a little bit of practice here. Okay. Yeah, I was just, that has nothing to do with anything. I was just trying to essentially practicing visualizing the grid or the square plane, right? And then with what I've been practicing for the top part of the C22 so far, right? Essentially thinking about, okay, there's a cut like this, and then evenly there should be a cut like this, right? And then there's essentially from this point to this point, there's an angle like that. So I have to visualize that as I bring that down. Same thing here, right? It's different in perspective. And then we go all the way down, maintaining the perspective, because this is a bit longer, as per the gun reference. Right, I have a couple references now, but this could be wrong in the sense that, you know, I'm not looking exactly super objectively, because I'm looking at a side angle, or I'm looking at a 3-point view of this gun in the opposite angle. So this, technically this shape could be wrong, but the point is I'm trying to get to that, to relatively that shape as much as possible. And then from this one, right, look at this again actually. Okay, I think I understand it a little bit better. Actually, this is the wrong shape. It's more like this. There you go. And then it's slanted. And then it goes down, like so. That makes a lot more sense, because then this is the flat part, right, of the top. And then we have that little thingy that essentially slants back, right? Same thing over there. That's fucking off perspective because this line's wrong. But I think that's how it is. Well, let me look at some more, actually, or some references of this that isn't, that makes it a bit more clear as to that shape. Because I do need to know what that shape is. I guess every fucking image on Google is just gonna show the side profile for some reason, which is not that helpful. Oh, here's one that shows the front. This one actually helps a little bit more. So this has all been apparently wrong, and it's literally like this. Apparently my first attempt was the more correct attempt, where it was just a mild curve. Yeah, and then this is actually it's a multiple, it's a bevel, I believe. Yeah, it's a single rounded. Yeah, something like that. And yeah, this is still a little slightly angled. You know, this is still going fully back, right? Actually, no, that is the other angle I'm looking at is actually making it more unclear. I'm just gonna stick to what this one is showing me, because this one has the most harsh lighting. So ignore everything. I'm just discovering everything right now. So this is why I encourage you to fucking draw along, because you're definitely not getting much education from, or maybe you are actually. Who knows? Maybe you are getting education from me sort of finagling, as they say. So it's like that, and then it's a slight deviation, and then it goes down. And that's what I'm after, right? If I keep visualizing the grid, soon enough it'll become second nature, right? So, and then this down here, it goes again, it goes out and then back, like so. But the thing is, that's too short. Okay, I'm gonna stop crowding this space, because I'm assuming those who are watching will want to understand what I'm doing. Right, so again, let's, what angle should I do it in? We should do it in an angle that's difficult. Right, and let's set the plane as this. Right, so that's the plane. What angle do I want to do it in? Well, we'll do it in this angle. So this is the top of the gun. Again, I'm trying to make sure everything is very, and then it's angled like that, right? And then it's slightly, it's a bit longer, something like that, right? And again, I need to keep seeing this angle, this line, this, and this, right? So it's not perfect, because I've already kind of fucked it up here. This should have been much longer, but it's okay, because I'm just trying to figure it out right now. And then this is going up, right, because we're following this perspective of the grid, and then we're going up because it's cutting diagonally. This is a diagonal protrusion. And we need to have that following the perspective, and this following the perspective. Great. I have not done this bottom angle before, so this should be fun, right? At least not with this specific gun or shape. So now, how does this jut out? Well, we know this is, in terms of length, just, it was also jutting out a little bit, but we know in terms of length it's basically the same as this, if not a bit longer. And that's what's going to make that come out a bit, right? That's basically what's happening on the other end. And same thing here, right? This is jutting back. Wait. That's my perspective. So this is jutting a little bit outwards, but back as well. I think I may have fucked it up a little, because this is the ellipse, right? It's good that I'm fucking it up, because there's a specific relation here that I need to get down, right? It's not gonna happen by me not making mistakes, evidently. Because it's something like this, right? But it's supposed to be going outwards a bit more, like diagonal, which kind of is. Same thing here. And again, this is why I need to constantly visualize this in my mind, but at a much larger scale, right? I don't know what the bottom of this looks like. I think this is obviously why it's important to have the second half of this, but for the time being, something like this. And then it goes again. Right? And here is where we have that little, again, I need to think about the perspective a lot more, but if I do have it correctly in my mind, then it's something like this. Right? That's basically the top part. Obviously bastardizing it a decent amount, but slowly but surely, I actually do think I'm starting to get the hang of this. And obviously, I'm not gonna do anything regarding the back part just yet. This seems to be the top part. Okay, so again, it's all a contour manipulation, right? So if we have the square plane, which is part of the box, right? If we have a square plane like so, all I am doing my best to do is understand what's being manipulated, but also it's literally just like this, right? And then it's, again, it's cutting through, so it's kind of more of a subtle one like that. And then again, I have to think about, okay, from this point to this point, so roughly what is happening, and then it's going straight and following the perspective like so, right? And the size of this leaves a bit of a gap, so the size of this ellipse leaves a little bit of a gap at the bottom. I'm finding that just speaking out loud and thinking about it as I do it helps a lot. You might be wondering, why are you going to such lengths in order to get it down so exact? Well, that's the whole point, right? It's all for spatial reasoning. It's also, I understand what I'm drawing better, right? I may not be able to describe what this is yet, but I can definitely describe to myself how the shapes are angled within 3D space. You know, and this, like I established here, is just slightly outward. So again, within the plane, it's just slightly outward, right? And that's what I need to be able to understand. See, I fucked that up here. See? It's not perfect, it should be a bit lower. But that's what I need to be able to also understand as I go, as I continue, because then what is happening? I think the main thing I need to understand is that, okay, then it's going straight, but then it's just jutting back in. That's the main thing. Something like that, right? That's where I guess like this thing is happening. Because it's jutting outward, I think. Right? And then that brings in. something like this, I believe. Of course, we don't need to connect all these lines. I really only need to connect this one. Right. And that actually, this line shouldn't have existed. It should have gone further back. And this one shouldn't have, yeah, this one shouldn't have connected. It should have just gone further back. And then there's more happening there in terms of the connection. It's very difficult to understand, I'll be honest. This is why I'm going to rest my brain. Because as long as I'm making that effort, the cognizant effort, yes, the error correction process of the beautiful thing known as your mind will do the rest. So let's all rest our brains because we thought so hard. I'm going to assume you were thinking very hard, unless you're thinking very hard about how hard you're getting in order to think. All right, cool. I'm hydrating, not hydrated, because I'm getting bags under my eyes, which is not good. But let me look at some of the other references I have here as well. You see, so that's what's happening. See, is oh, okay. I see what this shape is now. It's like this. This thingy is actually, yeah, it's something like this, right? Yeah. And it's kind of going outward, right? It's actually much more tapered. But what's happening on this side, if we were to reflect it on the other side, is actually this. Yeah, it's an LED. You know, and again, it's tapering. Something like that. So that's good to know. At least I know what that shape is now. But yeah, when you get into the nuance of the gun, it's actually a lot going on, which is great because this is how I'm gonna keep practicing and learning, right? I'm gonna stick to these two things. I want to be unnecessarily detailed about it, like all the little ridges that I can possibly replicate. Right, so let's try again, but this time we'll do it from a normal side perspective, I guess. Kind of like here to understand it a bit better. Yeah, and what's happening? Yeah, it's sort of jutting out. Okay, let me look at the other reference one more time. Let me look at this one more time. Okay. I don't want to be too exact, but I do want to be as exact as I can. Right? So, yeah, like this is a learning process, which is incredibly fun. So again, I need to think about the overall perspective. What are some perspectives I haven't done before? Something like this. Yeah, let's do something like this. Okay. I just will do the backside. Okay, I need to think about what this perspective is, though. I'm trying to draw it from the back, so there's obviously going to be some things that are, I guess, not perfect. But what did I fuck up here? See, I actually lost the perspective, which happens. Okay, but I think I've gotten it back, roughly. So we don't see that side. This side we do not see. Let's establish this. Like that little thing at the top. That thing over there. It's not exactly accurate, but that's a good thing because that means I'm gonna learn on how to make it accurate. But let's see. Oh, see, perspective was actually off. So yeah, it's completely incorrect. Now we just have this, which we have to understand in which way, like what it's gonna look like, right? So wouldn't it be something like that, maybe? Because it is slightly coming out. Trying to think. None of this seems right. Let me try that again. In order to assist myself just slightly, let's do this. So this we're gonna ignore. It's incorrect. It's not helping whatsoever. Right? And again, I understand this is very difficult. I mean, obviously I understand. I'm the one doing it. What you need to understand is that this is very difficult, right? Because I'm essentially not only doing this from an angle, which is very difficult to do, I'm also doing it from, not only am I doing it from a perspective, which is very difficult, I'm also now doing it from an angle in which I've never done with this side. I've only done from the front, right? Now I'm doing it from the back, and this, like what we see here, this is the back side, right? Obviously, that's also contingent on how well I understand the shape, but it's also contingent on how well I can draw these lines. Not very well, as you can see. Very, very poor lines, which is good, because that means they can improve, right? If they were not poor, that means they wouldn't be able to improve, right? This actually I shouldn't have even made, because again, it's gonna be covered by the actual base of this. But yeah, that's the real question, isn't it? Is what does that look like? Because if I do something like that, is it just jutting out like that? I think that's what it is, right? Then we have this, which essentially straightens it back out. And creates a, yeah, it makes it go in, I guess. Right, oh, fuck me. Not the cap! Anything but the cap. Now let me look at the other reference. Again, the gun is called a C22, alright? Just type in C22 gun, you'll see exactly what I'm trying to draw. And you can honestly attempt to draw this along with me, right? This is how we grow as a community. So yes, that is exactly what's happening. Okay, so I'm glad I understood that. It's literally like that. And everything is diagonally increasing. And again, it's going slightly up. Now, how many of those are there? 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Wait, what the fuck? Am I blind? 2, 4, 6, 7. Okay, I'm pretty sure it was 7. Good. Okay, these are actually very tiny. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. There you go. Yeah, they're not that wide in terms of a gap. But now I gotta make sure that it makes sense, right? Which is, there you go. So it's something like this. something like that. This one I made way too far away, like this initial one. But yeah, this is how it's, because I need to look at the other reference again. You see, it just juts back. Interesting. So it's essentially something that comes out. It's essentially a block addition, a square addition, sorry. And obviously I'm not doing it in the right perspective, because I lost sight of that. Okay, and then it comes back out. Like so. There you go. Now we maintain evenness throughout. Right? Yeah, there you go. It juts back out. There you go. That makes a lot more sense. And then we have this line right here, which again is slightly diagonal. And now we can essentially bring in this shape. Actually, I ended up converging it a little bit, which happens. But we can connect this. This isn't going to look like much to anybody watching, because obviously it seems a bit out there. It seems a bit awkward, which is all true. It is out there and it is very awkward. The perspective is hard to understand. This is just for me right now. Right? And then we bring this back. Right? And again, if that's the perspective we've established. Something like this. That's what's happening here. Right? Oh, and this connects. That makes a lot more sense to me now. It's not perfect, but this genuinely makes a lot more sense to me now. It's a subtraction with a bunch of additions. There you go. That's all it is. And it's a diagonal subtraction, opposite to each other. Right? Okay, that makes a lot more sense to me now. Okay, cool. I'm gonna leave that as it is, and we're gonna try drawing it from the front now. Again, I'm trying to make it as technically accurate, and this is a great way for me to practice my lines, right? Really, really thin, unnecessarily precise lines that only I am obsessed with making. But it's helpful. And it's good, because this is how we get more proficient, right? So again, just got to do my best to actually visualize the lines to the best of my ability. Of course, oh, I fucked up here. I also know why this looked off, because I didn't do this. Didn't add the diagonal. Bit of a diagonal cutout there. There we go. And it's not necessary to be this technically precise, but it helps in the long run. So this is actually it's not a straight cutout like I've been doing. It's a bit of a diagonal cutout. And then we have also a little bit of a diagonal cut out there. Let's see, and then we go straight, and this follows the actual perspective, like so, right? And what's happening here? There we go. Now we actually know what's happening here, which is this. Right, and it's pretty in line now with what it would have been, what I initially needed it to be like. Right, and now we just make 6 of these. Six, yeah. 1, 2, 3, 4. Wait, how many did I even make? I don't fucking know. 2, 3, 7. Yeah, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And then again, it's diagonally cutting out. And there you go, something like that. And this is where we follow the perspective again, in terms of this is great for clean line work, which I am not displaying. But again, this is where I get to practice seeing the grid lines, right? And then, what is it? It should come down. I think this is too small, but it's okay. So I gotta follow the perspective, this new diagonal perspective that's being established. Right, and the thing is, all I'm doing is I'm drawing form right now. That's the beautiful part, is the detail is coming purely from the form. No lighting, no shadows, none of that shit. Just from the form. There you go. And then this, again, I need to space this shit out better. Always end up making it way too, I guess, big. Right, but now this perspective-wise, it's great because now I can just do something like, how big is that compared to that? Roughly the same length. I can do something like that. And this can just keep going like so. Perspective is, yeah, so perspective is good there. So that's where this comes into play, right? This little thingy over there. I can just keep making that go. And now, again, I have to keep everything in mind. Oh, this perspective is actually inaccurate. My bad. It should be more like this. So, you know, you live, you learn. Apparently you don't learn. And I'm barely living as it is, but... unemployment joke. Okay, I wonder if me being unemployed makes me more likable or less. It's either, oh, disgusting, he's poor, I want nothing to do with him. Or, oh, great, he's poor, just like me, for real, for real. I think I'm gonna follow this guy's journey. There's no in between. This is an experiment to see what's separating the classes. Right? Okay, so... something like that is what's occurring. Oh yeah, let me connect these. There you go. And let me just draw this. So this is just gonna be straight. So it's essentially a little, but it's going along the plane but curved, so it's like that. And it's coming outward because we're acknowledging that curve. Right, and then same thing, so it's coming outward, so that's why it's like that. There you go. That's not bad at all, but this is actually really, really small in comparison to the reference, so I definitely messed up somewhere, and that somewhere might have been here. This is probably even further back. Actually, let me look at the... yeah, it's really not that much of a jut out. So It's this. This is the placement and length of this is what seems to be determining uh yeah, what the fuck's going on? I guess. There you go. And we'll just, for the sake of consistency, do that, even though that's inaccurate. Okay, let me rest my brain again. Slowly but surely getting it down. Fucking fun issue, man. I love this shit so much. Mistakes and all. So good. Anyways, let me rest my brain. But, just trying to think. Yeah, I love how I was like, oh yes, I'll get the entirety of the top part done today. It's not fucking happening. Half an hour and I'm just barely starting to understand these little connections and intersections being made. But, yeah, I do want to get the top part down. So let's actually start analyzing what's going on here. What the fuck are these shapes? It seems like in general they're a bit different, right? But I guess that's fine. This is like a 9mm or something. What's this other one? 19mm? What the fuck? Yeah, so the references have different things that are here. This space. The main reference I'm using is a 9mm, I guess. I don't know what the fuck that means. Is the bullet casing, right? I don't know. I literally know nothing about guns. Right, even this shit back here is different based on the reference. And that's probably because it can be interchangeable. I think this is the sight, right? Something like that. Yeah. I think these things, these parts or whatever, are interchangeable, and that's great because that means when I start designing, after I understand this gun very well, I'll be able to change some things, right, or a lot of things, because it's all based in reality, right? So we got to base it off reality before anything. But I also have to make this a lot thinner. This spacing here, it's too thick. So that's a couple things that we can practice. I want to see what's happening here after though. Yeah, what is this shape? I have no idea what the fuck that thing is, but it seems to be interlocked somehow. We'll leave it. We'll leave it for now. Okay, now I'm gonna try doing this from recall because I don't want to look at the reference. I'll try not to look at whatever I've been doing here as well, because I need to obviously understand it of my own accord. So I'm gonna do a difficult perspective, and there's multiple things I'll need to focus on, like visualizing the Y, right? This right here. This is how Irshad Karim or Uncomfortable from Drawbox explains it, right? It's like it's really just a Y, and these are the three different axes, right? X, Y, and Z. I believe the vertical one's Z. Actually, I don't fucking know. Yeah, I just do the work. Sometimes it's hard to even understand what I'm doing, but it's working, and they're all parallel and going towards a specific vanishing point, right? So that's what I'm focusing on, really internalizing, right? So that's what I'm trying to focus on right now. So let's see the Y, and then we can make this maybe a bit longer. So if we do that, then I can bring this like so. And again, I'm gonna focus on also ghosting, because it never hurts to ghost, right? Kim Jong-il always ghosted as well. Is one thing I've especially noticed, is he was always ghosting. Okay, Okay, that's pretty inaccurate, actually. But you have to work with the inaccuracies and all, right? Because that could have been more. And a lot of these errors purely come down to my lines not being that good, right? So that's something to think about as well. This ellipse ended up becoming too big, and it should have been spaced higher. A lot of these things I'm saying are just purely from my memory right now, right? Because we obviously want to understand it to the best of our ability. Okay, yeah, see? We need these lines to be a bit smaller. This is good because I can always use practicing my line work, right? That's always a benefit. Shouldn't be seeing that side that much, I don't believe. Okay, so just for shits, let's connect this so we can see this as a separate sort of part. And now comes the next part, which is the more difficult part, which is if this is the box that I'm going to strive to envision, right? It doesn't really jet out that much. It jets out like that much on both sides, right? Barely. Actually, wait, that's not accurate. It should be more like that. There you go. That's the correct line. And it's good. It's good to make mistakes, by the way. I want to keep reminding you of all of that. And there you go. It should just be something like this. And again, it's this right here. What the fuck happens here now? Oh yeah, we have something going against the perspective, so it's like something like this, right? And we need to have little lines, I think. 5, 6, 7, right? And yeah, I'm intentionally making the lines very small. Again, I'm really focused on trying to make good, clean line work. This isn't that, but that's how you learn, right? Like we're focusing on that, right? So again, it's going inward, right? Okay, if this is my perspective, where is it going in? Which planes are they interacting across? So it's interacting across this one? No, here, right? Should have been actually a bit more like that, but it's okay. And connect that, but I'm trying to think which planes is it interacting across, because it's going, something's happened. Like I'm gonna have to look at this as a reference, but it's coming inward, right? So what the fuck does that mean here? How's it going inward? Is it going like this? So it's interacting diagonally this way, okay. And then we have, I think, something like this, right? And it, of course, is following that diagonal. Something's not right. Oh, because I'm not drawing the box properly. It's here. Something like that. It's a bit better, I think. And then, okay, and then it again juts out. So it's really like this. And actually this should be straight. It's just because that's going diagonal doesn't mean that doesn't stay straight. Something like, is it like that? It's jutting out a bit, I guess it's like this. But we cannot forget, okay, something is happening here that I completely fucked up. But, okay, fuck it. Just ignore that. Right? Because we need to now think about, there's a line going like this. Okay, I almost lost the perspective, but thankfully I haven't. Because actually this should have been going like that. So actually no, I did. I 100% lost the perspective. But let's see, this one stops right around there. Something like that. This is so fucking hard. This is so fucking hard. And then why don't we just bring this? Yeah, see, like it's widened out so much, so that's disgusting. So it should have been like this. Yeah. So it didn't connect properly the right way. But god damn, that's a good fucking perspective exercise. Okay, let me rest my brain. Yeah, man, holy shit, I love practicing perspective, form, difficult angles. This shit grinds your brain. But I hope you're all having fun, whoever's listening and or watching, right? I don't know how many people get to this point. I feel as if it's only a couple people are still here at this point, right? But I hope you're having fun drawing, right? And specifically the type of fun where you're working for it. You know, not just, oh, la di da, we're all fucking best friends, which we can be. You know, I'll reject you horribly, but we can technically be best friends. Right? But I'm talking about the type of fun that comes from working for it. Right? The type of fun that says, fuck yeah, bro, I struggled, but I did it. That's all that matters. If you watch my Q&A, you know, I say that's literally how I just think about it. Right? Which is just, we're drawing and we're only just focusing on the effort that's being made. Right? Just the effort. That's all that matters. Nothing else matters. Just the amount of effort you're putting into it. See, this is a mistake. A really bad mistake, but a mistake nonetheless. I mean, that's literally what a mistake is. I don't know why I had to fucking call it nonetheless. Because these are too thick. This was a good amount of thinness. Right? Just trying to draw the individual parts. Great line practice, to be honest. So we need to explain to ourselves what's happening here, right? And I'll do that right here, I guess. How much time has elapsed? Already been 50 minutes? Damn. That's how you know I'm having fun. That's how you know I'm fucking having a goddamn grand old time. So what's happening here, if we do a top-down perspective, I guess, yeah, I'll do a top-down perspective. So might as well draw the entire thing again. That's the perspective I'm going for. So I need to keep ghosting. Ghosting is something I don't do often, and that's something I definitely should do. But at the same time, I'm kind of like 50-50, right? I also want to use my mind, you know? I also want my mind to be, I guess, for lack of a better word, ghosting actively. See, that was a mistake. Because... Was that a mistake? We'll see. About to find out whether that was a mistake. If this doesn't look okay in perspective, it's a mistake. And it looks okay, so it's not a horrible mistake. Actually, the mistake, obviously, more than anything, is the line. Right, again, this is great at forcing clean lines. And you might think, well, how much cleaner can it get? Well, just look at Kim Jong-il. Just look at Kim Jong-il and how much incredible fine control he has. And when I said incredible, my fucking head bobbed up and down, and I looked like I was orgasming, because that's how I feel. It's fucking astounding, bro. It's so amazing, and that's where the inspiration comes from. Is the fact that it can be done, you know. It's not as if it's anything otherworldly, I guess, right? It's literally just practicio. And he did a lot more of that than we ever did. No, that doesn't mean that he's just like some fucking anomaly. I think what I just said, the fact that he practiced a lot more than we ever did, should be actually inspiration. Because that just means that we gotta practice just as well as he did, just as smart as he did, just as erect. Okay, so this is what's happening here, right? We have this perspective, right, in that plane. In that plane, I have to try to explain this to myself so it makes more sense. If this is the way it's going, right? This is the way that this part of the perspective is going, the minor axis per se, right? Because this is what we have. Okay, no, it's going this way actually. It's going, yeah, this direction. Kind of cheating. I'm kind of cheating right now, but if it's going that direction, and let's say this line were to follow that, or this line, because it's off the diagonal here, were to follow that, but it's also jutting outward. So we're just bringing it slightly outward like that. This is just coming down also a bit outward to meet it, I believe. Right? Yeah, because this is jutting out outward, and this is just sort of jutting out just a little bit to meet it. Right? So, in fact, if we wanted to make it easier for ourselves, we could literally first draw the plane normally, as it is, and then we could do it again. Right? Going out and then jutting outward on that plane. Therefore, it's something like that. And this is something like that. Then we have a line that connects it, right? Again, this is all just what I'm trying to explain myself. Then you have something that's going along the perspective like so, and then it is going inward. That's what's happening, right? Yeah, it's jutting in, back into keeping a line with that. So we're just trying to line back with that. Right? And that's where this diagonal fuckery starts happening, because this is the minor axis, but this diagonal fuckery for this thing ignores that for 5, 6, 7, right? But this is still part of the minor axis, so this here actually, and that's why we need to keep the minor axis in mind whilst we draw this, because as an example here, like, right, we need to keep that in mind, right? We need to keep this direction in mind, even if that's going diagonally. So these are actually technically getting slightly longer, right? And again, this is a great exercise, and you're trying to keep a million things in your mind at this point, which is very difficult, because what am I thinking about? I'm thinking about clean lines, I'm thinking about the perspective, I'm thinking about the shape that I'm drawing in and of itself, right? I'm thinking about the fact that it has to match what's going on here, right? And don't forget, we're also connecting these like so. Wow, I actually explained that to myself pretty well. I don't know if it makes sense to anybody watching, but to me, that was a pretty fucking good explanation. right? And then same thing, it is jutting back out, and there you go. What the fuck happened here? Well, that was a mistake. It's supposed to be like that. Whatever, I'll fix that afterwards. But see, and now with this, it basically again goes okay, this and this isn't perfect because this should have been much lower. I should have been lowering it like so, like that. So you see, there's always room for improvement. If I just bring that down slightly, you'll see that, okay, now it's kind of following the perspective more, and that's slightly more diagonal. And then what do we have here? This thing juts back out. We have something like that, right? And this is still following this perspective, right? And then now we're just, again, following that slight diagonal, and then that, and then it just connects, hopefully, to prove my point. No, it didn't connect because I didn't make it long enough. This this wasn't long enough, right? And we're not done here because this just keeps going in perspective, of course. And then around here, because if this is the perspective that I've established, right, that means we need something diagonal like so, and that's part of that, right? And I think, what else is happening? Is it this? Yeah, I think this continues straight onwards like that. Now this is going to be slightly off perspective because I fucked it up a little, but oh, it's not that bad. Yeah, see? But that was bad. But that's literally the top of the gun. The top of the first half of the gun. Yeah, the first half of the top of the gun. Right? And then, you know. That was slight divergence, which wasn't good. Right? And just, it's different in the actual reference, but just for the sake of making it easier to understand, something like that, right? Well, I should have made that a bit further out, but there you go, something like that, right? And then it keeps going. Same here, just keeps going. This is technically all black. But yeah, this part is really difficult, but I'm gonna get better, obviously, because I'm putting a lot of effort into understanding it. You know, it was really difficult to think about the perspective while zooming out, while thinking about all those different things, but slowly but surely I'll understand how everything connects, and that will be good. And it's all contingent on lines. You know, the cleaner my lines are, the easier it is to actually see what I'm talking about. So I'm gonna rest my brain. Maybe I'll practice a little bit more of that angling here, and then I guess we'll call it, because it was a good session. It was a good session. I love practicing difficult perspective, the nuance of these things. It's very nice. But yeah, rest your brain alongside mine. We can listen to the nice little Chainsaw Man, that background music together. Hey guys, this is why reference is very helpful, right? You can't build a visual library without some sort of observation, whether it be through real life, committing it to memory, and then trying to replicate it on paper, right? Which is a lot of what Kim Jong-il did, but he also learned from life. He also learned from online references. There's so many videos about out there. Just type in Kim Jong-il lesson or something like that, right? There's somebody who's essentially really picked up and cataloged a lot of his videos, and it's sped up because I'm assuming for copyright purposes and all that stuff. So you know, you don't want to just post someone's lessons out there, but even within like the fucking times 20 speed, you'll see that he just pulls up a reference, looks at it, understands it, rotates it, manipulates it, all that stuff, right? So everybody learns from references, right? It's even Bryce Colander he says things along the lines of, oh, I don't really look at references. But then right after that, he says he tries to draw things as he knows them, tries to take inspiration from movies, tries to look at things and observe them. So that's his reference right there. His reference is what he's observing, right? Reference at its purest form is simply something you observe, right? This is a reference right here. It's always here. This pen's always right here. Technically, it's a reference when I'm looking at it. Or sorry, technically, it's not a reference when I'm looking at it, but it's a reference when I'm observing it. What is observation? Intentional analysis, right? That's what observation is. It's intentional analysis. Everything I've been doing has been intentional analysis, right? So, yeah. I don't know why I started that rant. Oh, yeah, just not a rant, but tangent, right? We have to be positive. We use positive language. But yeah, so if you ever feel as if using references is cheating or some fucking retarded shit like that, refer back to this video and know that even a god like me does not use reference. Wait, what the fuck? Even a god like me does use reference. This is completely fucking shat all over the last 5 minutes just because I'm distracted. Yeah, see? Again, the whole point is to try to make the connections. And I could even slow down on this. Right? I could definitely even slow down on this, because this is the plane I'm putting it in. And do you see, this is what I mean by the nuance, right? Like, because in this plane, I'm trying to make a connection like this, but I'm also trying to make a connection like this, like that. See? Like that, right? So, all while maintaining perspective. That's what this is, right? I actually don't know if my perspective knowledge is, I guess, a bit more advanced beginner or not. I feel as if this is still very beginner. Advanced perspective knowledge would be able to do this, but to apply it, or even intermediate perspective knowledge, actually. So that's why I never graduate from the basics. But no good artist, nobody who's actually skilled in something ever thinks they've graduated from the basics. Thank you. That was deep, so I had to burp. But even like in weightlifting, you're suddenly not above progressive overload, time under tension, right? Rest periods, in like the most basic sense, right? Those are the fundamentals of stimulating your muscles and growing them, right? Same thing with art. These are the fundamentals of stimulating your cock and growing it as well. So, and by cock is a metaphor for your art skills. I hope that was obvious, because I know my euphemisms can get very confusing. But so that's a diagonal like this. But if I move it over slightly, this is the diagonal I'm looking for, right? Same thing. See, but that's too long. Too long. And again, I'm doing most of this for good line practice, right? Keeping my hand stable, keeping it chill, calm, collected. I'm not going to see that part, even if it is jutting out a little bit, right? These little things is what I need to practice, right? Because having clean lines is pivotal to having good line work, good artwork in general. Even this could have jutted in a bit more. I think this I think that's a good length. If I look at the reference for this, I'm just double checking. Oh, yeah, see, it should have been longer at the back, because I didn't make it diagonal enough, because then it should have, from like a little bit further, it should have been something like this, right? It should have been something like that. There you go. While maintaining that. And then, from here, yeah, something like that. Still very confusing, still something I'm trying to figure out, but at the very least, my lines are getting slightly cleaner, because I'm learning how to hold my pen and very calmly draw clean lines, right? They're not perfect, but clearly I struggle with this range right here, where my pen feels like see that range right there. But see, lines like this, thin lines, consistent lines like this, I think obviously can be achieved, and more than that, they can be what am I trying to say? I don't fucking know. They can be even smoother because that's what Kim Jong-un can do, and if he can do it, I can do it. But anyways, with that being said, I'm gonna leave it here because I feel as if I definitely tried a decent amount. It's been an hour and 5 minutes. Should I go actually another one? Fuck it, why not? Why not just reinforce what I've been learning, right? So let's do another difficult angle, right? What's stopping me from trying again? Nothing except myself. So we're gonna do something like this. So this is the angle I'm trying to do. Literally, like I did here. Oh, like I did. Actually, no. These have all been difficult angles, all very different too, which is good. But that's what I'm trying to do. So this is where a lot of calculating is gonna have to come into play, because my lines need to be very precise and clean. I need to visualize this over a large space. That's the first step, is to really start visualizing these things over larger spaces, not just the area in which I'm drawing on, right? So something like that. Let's make that a bit longer. And then something like that. And then we can get that going like so. Right, this could have been a bit better, I think. It's always the opposite end that's difficult to calculate. But again, I have to keep thinking about ghosting in my mind, like, and visualizing the entire perspective. Because think about it, at the end of the day, if you're trying to draw scenery, every little thing has its own perspective, right? So you have to be able to visualize all these things in their own perspective. There's a fucking fruit fly flying around. It's a piece of shit. But this is how we practice, right? Cool. And again, this needs to be very small. So that's probably a bit too much as it is. But that's okay. I think I did it decently this time around. Yeah, you probably see that on the camera, this fucking dickhead. Fuck off! I will kill you! God damn it. It's the worst thing about fruit flies. From my knowledge, they're not even harmful. They're fucking annoying. Okay. This might be yeah, something like, I don't think we really see that other side. Okay, so now what's happening? Well, I do think what I did here was a good idea, where I just created a slight little jut out to reinforce the perspective, right? And that way we have something to sort of bounce off of, if that makes sense. We can do the same thing here as well, right? To showcase that, okay, it's not just on one side. We could have done it here as well, actually, see? Yeah, it's not just happening on one side, right? We could have done just a little bit to showcase that the depth exists on all dimensions. But again, there's a lot to think about. So right now, it's the main thing to think about. Well, we know it's going back on the plane and then slightly outward on the plane. And we know it's happening around this area right here, right? And that's what I decided upon. So if we know that's happening, we need to make sure that it's not too long. And again, same thing here. We know this is jutting just a bit outward to meet it, but it's all still meeting back at the intended perspective, like so. Right? Just a little cutout. That's how I recall it in the reference as well. Now, I could be wrong, right? This could be very wrong. Same thing if we actually just did the same thing here, going out a little bit to the right, meeting the perspective. That's what it would look like over there, right? And then we need to, again, recall what's going on here and not forget the perspective we've been establishing, which is... what happens here? What happens here? We have to think, oh no, it just goes straight on the perspective. And something like this occurs as well. A diagonal, almost. right? Something like that. And then this is where it goes inwards. And then we have, there you go, that diagonal. So what we need to do is just this 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 6, 7. These lines are a bit too small. And then, see, it's coming in outward. So what we need to do is, I need to think how that looks. Now this needs to follow the perspective, actually. Okay, so I think I'm fucked it up already here, but I'm just trying to think. Needs to be following the perspective, right? Going this way, so it needs to be longer. This fucking fruit fly, I swear I'll kill you, you piece of shit. That is correct, but something looks so off. So that means I don't understand it as well as I want to yet. This is like the little shadow thing that exists. Okay, and then something's happening here, where again it's jutting out. So that was incorrect, I guess. I don't fucking know. Something like that, I don't know, bro. This is so fucking difficult. It's starting to look very convoluted and retarded, let's be honest. Okay, this is something. Yeah, it's like completely off. It should be like that. I don't know anymore. Yeah, visualizing this is actually very hard. I'm trying to think. Because it should be like right around here actually, so. At least let me see if I can get this down. There you go, something like that. Looks like fucking shit. This looks so fucking bad. But perhaps. No, it actually makes no sense. It's very off, which is good. Okay, this hurt my brain, and I'm trying to figure it out, which means I will figure it out, right? But again, this is a very, very, very skewed angle as well. Actually, now that I look at it, I think it's not too bad, to be honest. Like, it's really not too bad, right? But it just requires a deeper visualization and understanding of what's occurring, which is honestly anything. Everything needs to be like that, right? This especially, like, again, I think my lines need to be a bit cleaner here. It's making it hard to understand what I'm actually drawing per se, but the perspective is very off. It's 100% fucking shit, because this is the minor axis, right? So that's also another thing. It's very skewed. It's very skewed. But either way, that was great. That was fucking amazing, right? The more trouble I have, that means there's nowhere to go but up. This is the exact same This is the exact same kind of trouble I had with crazy scooters way in the beginning, and we all know that's gotten a lot better, right? Another 20, 30 hours of anything that you do, you'll see improvement, right? Gradual improvement, but holistic improvement in your general understanding, right? I'm gradually improving in drawing this type of gun with all the different things to understand, with like how to spatially reason the cutouts and all that stuff. But that means my general spatial reasoning is improving drastically, right? And that's really the backbone of form representational art, is spatial reasoning, right? You can go very, very, very far. And that's why I shill Artwad. Link in description. Check out Artwad. And yeah, I guess I'm done. Anyways, yeah, with all that being said, right, like, subscribe, or fuck off. I now am doing Patreon and Ko-fi. Patreon actually has no value. Just support me if you give a shit about me. But Ko-fi, I'm taking commissions, apart along with the membership shit that Patreon does. So yeah, I'm taking commissions. If you want to request a drawing from imagination from me, right, with specific things that you want in it, I'll do my best to replicate it. Will it be good? I think you all know what the answer to that is if you've seen any of my Kim Jong-il art pieces, so you already know what to expect, or my drawing from imagination art pieces. But yeah, that will, commissioning me for that will, I guess, I mean, you'll see it on the Ko-fi, but commissioning me on Ko-fi means you will, I'll do that drawing from imagination, however many hours it takes. Every single video will have a shout out to you specifically, multiple times. I'll be fucking sucking your dick majorly throughout the entire drawing, right? I'll also laminate it and send it to you once it's done, and you'll forever be part of my channel, right? Of my video series, where I'm literally minimum take 2 to 3 hours to draw whatever you want me to draw. And yeah, I'll give you as many shout outs or whatever the fuck I guess you want. And I think those are the major perks, right? I'll sign it, I'll laminate it, I'll send it to you, and it'll be on my channel, right? And you get to specifically request what you'd like me to draw, and obviously I'll draw it to the best of my ability. Yeah. Okay, wonderful. Now that I'm done fucking shilling for my for my Ko-fi. Yes, with all that being said, right, as always, fuck you for watching, keep drawing, and please give me money. Thank you. Jesus Christ, fucking voice crack. Thank you. Thank you.